When you make a Flutter app, you compose that app from widgets. Widgets determine how an app looks, and you use them for everything such as buttons, text, and they are even used to lay out other widgets. We'll be diving deeper into widgets in the next part of the course. The thing to keep in mind is that when developing a mobile app, you have two types of widget flavors. You have the material library, which provides the same look and feel as user interface elements on Android. Cupertino gives you the same look and feel on iOS. You'd think that Flutter interacts with the native operating system to show the widgets, but in fact, Flutter recreates them. This means you can effectively show Android widgets on iOS and iOS widgets on Android. Granted, you'll end up with a lot of confused users. In this course, we're going to be building an app using the material theme, but it will still target both Android and iOS devices. Once you are comfortable with Flutter, you'll be able to create an app that matches the look and feel of both native environments, but that's beyond the scope of this course. Like a typical Dart application, a Flutter application has a starting point, and that's the main method. We're going to return a type of material app. This is a convenience widget used for setting up an app. We'll use a scaffold widget that provides the basic visual layout for the app itself. Let's get to work on this.
To get started, open your Flutter project. To do this, open Visual Studio Code. Then press File and then Open. Navigate to the project folder root and click Open. Open up the main.dart file in the lib folder. First things first, delete everything below the import statement. And now you are ready to begin. The import statement allows us to access all the various widgets in the Flutter framework. First, you need to write an entry point. Type the following. This is known as a method. A method encapsulates code that we can call on demand. Some methods return a value. For instance, if you wrote an add method to add two integers, that is numbers, the return method would be an integer. In this case, we're returning nothing, hence the void keyword. Now to call the run app method. This method will launch our first widget. You'll notice a red line underneath our statement. This indicates an error. All statements in Dart must end in a semicolon. Think of it like a period at the end of a sentence. Add the following. Even with the semicolon, we're still getting an error. That's because the methods require another widget. This is where we pass in the material app widget. This is our very first widget that gives us some features that are used in a lot of apps. Add the following. We're passing in a title for our app called Bullseye. Notice the single quotes around the text. All text in Flutter uses single quotes instead of regular quotes. Ignore the blue squiggles for now. Ignore the blue squiggle for now. Next, we need to provide a scaffold for our app. This gives us things like an app bar in our basic visual layout. Here you provide a scaffold with an app bar and then a title for your app bar, yet your code is a little hard to read. Thankfully, we can format our code with commas. Update it to the following. Now save, and we get a formatted set of widgets that is much easier to read. Now let's add a simple text widget. In the scaffold, after the app bar, add a body property. A center widget will center any widget in the middle of the screen. Of course, the text will display a simple text message. Now to run it. I have Android Studio installed, and I want to run this on my Pixel device. Down the status bar on the right-hand side, select the device. From the menu, choose the device you installed when you set up Flutter. Now, there are a few ways to launch the app. The easy way is to simply press F5. Another way is you can press a button on the left-hand side that is a play button. Once you press it, you'll see a run and debug button. Now open up Git Ignore and press F5. You'll get an error message since Git doesn't have a main method. The app doesn't know where to start. Instead, open main.dart and press F5. It may take a few minutes, but an emulator will appear. Note that if you see a prompt about Dart dev tools, just select the Not Now option. Once you have your app up and running, switch back to Visual Studio Code. Update the text to the following. Now save, but your device won't update. You have a few options. You'll see there's a toolbar at the top that allows you to stop, pause, or even reload the app. First, you have the hot reload, which is the lightning bolt button. This will reload the virtual machine on the device. The good part is that the device won't lose its state. You'll use the hot reload throughout this course. It's one of the coolest parts of working with Flutter. That is, changing your code and instantly seeing the changes on a device. Unfortunately, the hot reload won't rerun the main method, so in our case, we won't see any changes. We need to do a hot restart. The hot restart button restarts the Flutter app. Unfortunately, this will lose our state, but in our case, it doesn't really matter much. Press the hot restart button. Return back to the app, and look at that. We have an updated app. Nice work.